To help us analyse the meetings, we're joined from Cairo by Atef, the Iranian affairs expert, and joining us from Pennsylvania is Mr. Malek, Francis, a political analyst and a member of the Republican Party. Thank you both for joining us here on In Depth.
Thank you.
Let me start off with Mr. Atef. Iran has expressed a preference for indirect negotiations with the United States. How significant is this request, and why does Iran insist on this format after Trump said that the talks are going to be directly held with Iran?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening. Yes, Iran, I think that Iran is forced to engage in these nuclear talks with the United States because of many reasons. As far as Iran is now, or has now, a choice between military action against its nuclear sites inside Iran, or to sit on the negotiation table with the United States to reach a nuclear deal. So this is now the most important reason for why Iran is enforced to engage in this talks. I think the second important reason is that, regarded to Iran's economic now. I think that the crisis which the economy in Iran faces, I think it has enforced Iran also to reach or to sit on the table, the negotiation table with the United States. Because recently Iran has, or the crisis, the economic crisis in Iran has been more problematic than in the past. Recently, the Iranian rial has been so low against the dollar. $1 is now 1 million rial, recently, the last day. So all of these reasons enforce Iran to reach a deal with the United States and to sit on the negotiation table with the West in general, either the United States or the European countries.
Okay, if we could get Mr. Francis's take. Now, President Trump has said that if negotiations failed, Iran would be in great danger. However, he also came into office promising no more forever wars. Do you believe that the U.S. is genuinely ready to take military action against Iran, or is this some form of negotiation tactic and pressuring the Iranian side into some sort of deal between them?
Me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. As you know, and we all know by now, that President Trump has no respect for his friends or his enemies, and he likes to threaten everyone. For the first time since January 20th, I believe that he is really sincere, because he wants to reach an agreement with Iran to prove to his followers that he succeeded as he promised during the campaign. And a war in the Middle East, unfortunately, no one will benefit from it. I think it may, and I hope not, it may, I think, create and start World War III. But I believe the Iranians are ready now, because they want the sanctions lifted. Iran, as you know, has been losing billions of dollars since the embargoes. And President Trump wants an agreement that he would sign. He will get all the credits. He abolished or canceled the agreement in 2018 because President Obama was the one that signed it. He
Yes.
likes to sign everything. As you know, every day he's signing an executive order every day, and he shows his signature. He's in love with his signature. So I hope this time he's sincere, and we do need an agreement with Iran in order to diffuse the wars in the whole area in the Middle East. And Iran almost succeeded in signing an agreement with former President Joe Biden. Fortunately, he withdrew from the presidential race because of a health problem. And the copy of the agreement that was supposed to be signed between Iran and President Biden. It was a good one. Iran promised not to support any militia in the Middle East, and they would allow international inspector to come and check any plan they have underground, above ground. So they almost really get a good agreement. And I hope that President Trump, for the first time now,
do you think that President Trump may set the benchmark a bit higher than expected? It's a way, I don't know. Some analysts believe that maybe the Trump administration is attempting to not get a deal or get the best possible deal but the Iranians may not be very happy with these negotiation points.
I believe Iran would do anything because they want the embargo lifted and they don't want Israel to bomb them, because Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel wanted to bomb Iran and start World War III in order for him to stay in power. So, and he did not really have a good meeting with President Trump when he was here in Washington, D.C., because he denounced the meeting between the U.S. and Iran, and he was not happy with it. Yes. He wants us to bomb Iran. He wants us to destroy it. But I think the poor guy doesn't think ahead of time, because a war in Iran would not help him, would not help Israel, would not help anyone. And I don't think the European, the Russians, the Chinese would be happy with us bombing Iran. And I don't think President Trump wants to bomb, because he was really against all the wars, especially the war in Iraq when George Bush, the son, was president. Now he's bombing Yemen because he's trying to please the Israeli lobby here and the Israelis, not because he wants to destroy Yemen. So I believe for the first time, I'm optimistic, because in the first term when we elected him, I worked hard for his campaign. Yeah. He disappointed us. But this time I think he needs a victory. He's dreaming of really he's getting the Nobel Peace Prize. Therefore, he's trying to reach an agreement with the Iranian regime.
Okay, Mr. Atef, what about you? What's your take? Do you think that Iran is now more ready or willing to engage in direct talks, or talks in general, regarding their nuclear program?
I think that Iran is now so ready for engaging in talks with the United States. As we said previously, that the economic situation in Iran and also the regional situation now, I think it pushes all of these push Iran towards reaching a nuclear deal with the United States, especially Trump administration, and also with the European countries. At first, this economic situation and also the regional situation, Iran has lost its regional military groups in 2024. Also, it's not 100%, but these military groups have lost so much of their power last year, 2024, and the war with Israel. So I think that these also regional factor pushes Iran towards sitting on the negotiation table with the United States. And also I think that because Iran knows that the second alternative will be the military attack, so it's pushed from the inside, from the clerics inside Iran, to sit on the negotiation table with the United States. So I think that that Iranian leaders inside Iran see that this is the most suitable choice for Iran in the present time, and I think that they at least will sit on the negotiation table with the West and reach a nuclear deal, but a nuclear deal more in favor of the United States and the West, because.
But are there any red lines that the Iranians are not willing to negotiate during this meeting?
Sorry?
Are there any sort of red lines for the Iranians? Is there something that they're not willing to negotiate?
I think that Iran now is much more important. But when we talk about red lines, I think that there are some red lines for Iran when it talks with the United States. At first, Iran does not accept to negotiate on its missiles program at first, and also on the drones program. Iran does not accept this, and Khamenei has declared this so many times in the last year, and this was one of the most important reasons why the negotiations with Joe Biden administration had stopped in 2022, in September 2022. So I think this are the most important red line when we talk about how to talk with the West and the United States in the coming days.
Okay, Mr. Francis, now you touched slightly on the role of the Israelis when it comes to these negotiations or the policies towards Iran. But if you could further expand on it, what role will they play in shaping the US policy when it comes to Iran? And could they somehow influence the negotiations themselves? Especially on the nuclear program.
I believe Prime Minister Netanyahu did try to influence Trump not to take his path in order to meet with the Iranians on Saturday, as it happened in 1988-89 with President George Bush, when he announced that he will meet with the PLO, and Israel got mad at him, and there were too many problems between the Israelis and the Bush administration. And I believe it will happen again now between Netanyahu, his government, and President Trump, because, you know, President Trump has a hard head. He doesn't listen to anyone.
But he's been very generous with the Israelis. I mean, when it comes to the conflict in Gaza, he's completely supportive of every action happening there. How is it going to change when it comes to the Iranians? Or is it because the Iranians are a bigger target, I suppose, more difficult?
Unfortunately, Gaza is different because nobody cares about the suffering of the poor Palestinian people. The Israelis are starving the children and the women to death, and nobody cares, unfortunately. Gaza now, or the Palestinians, don't have any friends, only Egypt maybe and Jordan, the only two friends they have, and Hezbollah and Lebanon. But Iran is different. Iran is a friend with Russia, with China, with other nations. So we're in different ball game here with the Iranians. And the Iranians are very strong. They have strong military system, and they have their ballistic missiles. When Iran sent a few missiles to Israel a few months ago, it was a game, really. It was not. They did not send their missiles, the ballistic one they have, and because I believe Trump wants peace. He wants to have accomplished an agreement with the Iranian regime, because he needs a new market now. With his now tariffs, it's going. Hopefully, it started a trade war all over the world, and it's going to cost us here in the United States trillions. In the past week, the stock market lost up to $6 trillion. All his friends lost billions. Mr. Musk lost about maybe 130 billion bucks in a few days. So I don't think he could afford now a war. And I hope that he will put pressure on the Israelis to stop starving people to death in Gaza, to stop the war and get off Gaza, because the Palestinians will not leave Gaza, and he's not going to have the Riviera of the Middle East in Gaza, thanks to President Sisi of Egypt and to King Abdullah, who really stopped the plans of the Israelis and of President Trump. That's why President Trump is not very happy with President Sisi. But Sisi did the right thing, and I support him. He's one of the best. I wish the Gulf states and Saudi Arabia will put pressure on President Trump to stop the war in Gaza. And don't forget that the Gulf area, Gulf states with Saudi Arabia, don't want Trump to start a war with Iran, because Trump needs the trillions that they are going to give him here to invest in the United States. So therefore, I don't believe Trump will start a war or will attack Iran. He will try his best. Yes, Israelis will try to stop him. They may bomb an American embassy or whatever and blame the Iranians for it, as they did in 1988 with the Pan-American flight, and we blamed the Libyans, but it was the Israeli Mossad behind it, unfortunately.
Okay, Ms. Atef, if we could get your take now. I know you've said that the Iranians are very willing to, negotiate simply to have some sort of sanctions relief. But do you think that Tehran is ready for an agreement, or is this a sort of stalling tactic to buy more time?
No, I think that this time that Iran is ready for getting in a nuclear deal with the West. I think that Iran has been sure that the West will not wait too long for Iran to build its nuclear bomb. And also we must take into consideration the Israeli factor that Israel also will not wait for Iran to build a nuclear weapon. Also, Netanyahu had said yesterday that Israel will not wait too long to let Iran build a nuclear bomb. So I think this time is real, or the real time, or the real chance for all the factors to reach a nuclear deal for Israel and the United States, the West, and Iran to reach a deal. So I don't think that it's a tactic from Iran to sit on the negotiating table with the West this time, but I think this time is the real, and actually all of them want to reach a deal. All of these factors, the West, the United States, the European countries, and Israel will not let Iran build a nuclear bomb. And we must also take into consideration that Iran has a low level, high of uranium enrichment. It has reached these levels in the last month. So Iran has reached a level that it can build a nuclear bomb. I think it needs 90% enrichment uranium. So the West will not let Iran build the nuclear bomb. So all of these factors will step on the negotiation table, reach a deal in the next month or the next week.
Okay, if they do reach a deal, what does this mean for the Iranians, other than sanction relief? What does this mean for the region, and what does this mean for them when it comes to the international community?
Sorry?
I believe that Iran is going to benefit a lot from an agreement with the U.S. because it has money frozen all over Europe and here in the United States. And the embargo did affect negatively the Iranian market. And the Iranian people, I think, cannot survive in a war state all the time. So they are looking forward for an agreement with President Trump here, and they will agree not to pursue nuclear weapons, and they would allow international inspectors to inspect their plans, and they will stop helping militias in Lebanon and Syria. That they are done in Lebanon and Syria. Now they still have maybe influence in Iraq and in Yemen, and they withdrew their officers from Yemen, as I heard about a week ago. So I think, and the state, as I said, and Saudi Arabia want peace, they don't want war in their neighborhood. So therefore, yes, Iran will benefit a lot from an agreement signed with the U.S., and Trump will declare victory, and he will dream of getting the Nobel Peace Prize.
Okay, Mr. Atef, what about you? What's your take on this? How do you see the Iranians handling it if the negotiations are successful? Does this mean that there may be further negotiations with neighboring countries and the Gulf states and so forth? And what does it mean for the Iranians, I suppose, when it comes to dealing with Europe and America later in the future?
I believe... Oh, go ahead, sir. Sorry.
Yes.
Let Mr. Atef, please go ahead.
Yes. I think there's a very important question about how, what will the Iranian reaction be if the United States declare a military attack against Iran or against the nuclear site. I think that if the negotiations fail, I think that the alternative will be the military action against Iranian nuclear sites. I think that Mr. Trump and also Netanyahu have made it clearly that another option or choice will be the military action against Iranian sites, nuclear sites. So this is the reason why I think briefly that all of these factors or parties will reach a nuclear deal in the next week. Iran will, I think that Iran seeks a situation that its economy and the state itself is not destroyed by the United States and Israel. I think that Iran itself will not let or give or will not give Israel and the United States the chance to change the regime in Iran itself. So this is another factor that we think, or I think that the change of regime in Iran is possible if Iran rejects to engage in talks or diplomatic talks with the United States and the West. So in general, I think that all of these forces will sit on the negotiation table in the next days. Although we must see that Oman talks on Saturday, next Saturday, is a very good beginning. Clear talks between all of these parties. I think that Oman talks will be the first round of talks or real round of talks between these parties, and it will be very strict for all of these parties because all of them will offer their conditions or their conditions for the negotiations in the next.
Okay, thank you so much. But we're out of time, so I thank you both so much. That was Ali Atef, the Iranian affairs expert, and Mr. Malek Francis, a political analyst and a member of the Republican Party. Thank you both for joining us here.